What's up, peeps? Coming at you from Thailand. Sorry about any residual sound. We're in a little bungalow and I don't even know what's making the sound, just electricity somewhere. Now, I've sat on this review for some time now because I feel letharged even thinking about doing it, let alone actually executing it. So it's a genuine pain in the ass to have to do this, but like, what the fuck is the deal with Twin Peaks Season 3? Honestly. I talk a lot about my kind of ideal horror film and the format that takes, which is one that's grounded in relatable settings and relatable kind of personalities for your characters. If I empathize with characters, I'm more likely to be able to follow them through their trials and tribulations, and, you know, my emotions are more likely to match what theirs might be in any given scene. So if they just open their mouths and convenient exposition comes out, that's not how humans actually speak. They're not providing backstory constantly to justify a plot. So if they do that, I'm less likely to be able to relate to them as people. Another thing that annoys me is when characters have vague personality traits that suit the plot line of the story. That's another kind of no-no. And worst of all, and this is something that we're noticing a lot in horror films, is that characters will have no discernible personality traits, and they will just be a mishmash of, like, kind of human expressions and dialogue, and so you can't go, that's not what that character would do, because that character doesn't really have a personality. And so that's an easy way to write for modern horror writers. It makes it very difficult to kind of not laugh when they die in those films. And sometimes my friends are like, why are you laughing? The person just died. And I'm like, person. More like plot device. So, onto the topic at hand. Now, the first two seasons of Twin Peaks hold a special place in my heart because they strike a balance with relatable characters and also, you know, relatable and then increasingly more disturbing settings. The whole thing is kind of presented as a murder mystery centered around a cop called Agent Cooper who's trying to find out what happened to a local girl that's gone missing and then wound up dead. It's grounded in a believable enough reality that slowly gets distorted in a way you can follow because you can follow the characters and their journey through it because they're relatable. It strikes this nice balance of kind of grounding you in a reality that you can somewhat relate to, you know, a small town in America or Canada, I don't know where. And then it takes you off the deep end to this kind of surreal, kind of supernatural world. Now, for the above reasons, I did not like Season 3 of Twin Peaks. If Twin Peaks was like a well-balanced cake with one egg and some flour, I honestly don't know how cakes are made, but whatever the cake of Twin Peaks Season 1 and 2 was, this is the polar opposite. So instead of having one egg, it's mostly eggs and a garnish of flour. I really should have figured out how cakes are made before I did this. So you expect a cake because, you know, David Lynch has set up this profound series that affected a lot of people, and your dessert is a quiche, a burnt quiche that has no flavoring. It's just eggs baked in a pan.
Evening. Thank you. Exercising. Oh. Bushnell dum dum. Dead. Jerry Pot. Dougie Jones. Damn good.
So instead of having, you know, sparing supernatural elements in the series, most of it was just incomprehensible, surrealist garbage I found barely any of the characters relatable at all, so it was hard to orient to it at all. And that's fine when the whole series, like season 1 and 2, has been relatable, and then you go off the deep end and it's hard to orient to. That you can share that experience with the characters, but when there's no way to orient to any of it because no one's relatable as people, everyone's in a weird situation, like Agent Cooper's stuck on a fucking spaceship satellite thing with a woman with her eyes sewn shut and there's a guy's face floating in space. It's like I don't know what sense to make of this. This is ridiculous. So I basically just floated through it, kind of detached and confused. At first you kind of wonder what scenes actually mean, and then you stop thinking about them because they just appear to be symbolic, so you feel stupid for not understanding them. It's kind of like the illusion of deeper meaning without the deeper meaning. That would be my reading of Twin Peaks Season 3. It's kind of like, it's like your friend who uses big words to make people feel stupid. But, you kind of see through it, and instead of making people feel stupid, he kind of just shows that he has a crippling inferiority complex. Let's just say if this series were a person, it would be constantly quoting the Joe Rogan podcast and telling people that jet fuel can't melt steel beams. So you're watching the questions without answers in this series pile up, and you're wondering why the plot keeps kind of ever widening without ever reconciling anything or providing any answers to the questions it raises. More and more weird plot points get introduced until you just don't care what the answer is anymore. I had this same experience watching Twin Peaks Season 3 as I did watching Lost. I don't care about a plot that involves sentient smoke, a Labrador, a combi van, and an underground bunker and a car and a plane crash. Just like I'm not intrigued about what my shit tastes like. And just like I don't want to sit through the awfulness of what it would mean to find out what my shit tasted like, I don't want to sit around and find out what either the answers to Lost or Twin Peaks are. Like with Twin Peaks. What's this about? What's the deal with this? Why is there a horse? Is that a brain on a stem? Why? Why is this guy painting shovels gold? Why is he going through an electrical outlet? How did he replace this other guy? Is this another dimension? If he is replacing some other guy but looks fundamentally different and can't even speak when the guy he replaced could, how are his wife and child not concerned? How is this whole episode this guy eating pancakes? How is no one reacting to him weirdly? This is meant to be the real world, the grounding part of the show, and you don't even realize that your husband, who could talk and work a job before and had a different haircut before he disappeared and has been replaced by an imposter. Like, if this is the part that's meant to mirror real life, then why is it almost as nonsensical as all the surrealist, arty bullshit parts of it? The whole reasons the aliens in Avatar were made to kind of resemble humans was because we wouldn't be able to empathize or relate to the film if they were fucking sea spiders or the Thing or something. Like, empathy is strongest between members of the same species. Like, we could look. You want him to do you so much you could do anything? We could look into the eyes of the avatars and see human eyes. They had noses and mouths. If they didn't, we wouldn't know where to ascertain whether they were smiling or happy or sad. They had to have human emotions, and they had to be relatable, or else the film would have been a complete fucking flop. That's what makes us feel for the characters as they go through their world. The fact that we can relate to their emotions, we can see their facial expressions, they can smile, they can laugh. But, like, this family is just unrelatable. His kid doesn't seem to give a fuck that his dad has lost 95% of his brain function. Oh, you think it's funny that your dad is wearing a tie on his head and doesn't know how to eat food? Well, either he's not your dad and replaced him in his body by coming through an electrical outlet, or he has developed advanced and early onset Alzheimer's. Still think that's funny?
And I'm thinking we're going to be in good shape.
Well, just so you know, I have no ideas for Sheriff Truman's office. We're going to have 15 people standing around, and I don't have a fucking clue what I'm gonna do.
The genius of the first 2 seasons is that the show was grounded in observable reality, for the most part. And then it went off the rails. Once you've established reality, and you know when you look into someone's eyes that they're human and they're not just a plot device, and, you know, they have real character traits, and they're going to react to a scary situation in a similar way that you can follow them on their journey into the dark and into the place with exploding heads and all sorts of weird shit. That's when you can do that. But if you do the opposite, and you start with exploding heads and a horse in the corner, you're gonna find that people aren't gonna be able to relate to your film. How is it helpful if at this show's most surreal, it's like the child of meth psychosis and a fever dream, and at its most sensical and grounded, it completely lacks continuity, plot, consistent characters, realism, depth, humor, intrigue, or fucking anything remotely relatable that we can empathize with? Why is the show just a guy walking around doing and saying nothing? Just forever. Just every fucking episode, this guy walking around pointing at something, repeating someone's words. Like, do you not realize that this guy is functioning at a different level than he was yesterday? Like, he's changed. He's a different guy. What happened to this person's head? Why did her face cave in and a golden snitch come out? Why does it look like it was animated in Microsoft Paint? Why the fuck is Michael Cera in this? Why is Michael Cera in this? And why is he playing a Marlon Brando character? How is this entertainment? What day is it? Like, where am I? Where did they come from? What fucking year is it? Why is my head a half-filled-in Sudoku puzzle? Now I'm over here, and it doesn't matter how I got here. The important thing is I have all the ingredients for a ham and cheese sandwich taped to my face. Now, it's an important societal point that I'm making by engaging with this level of symbolism. When you figure it out, let me know at David Lynch jerks his little ding dong for 13 episodes, or however long Twin Peaks Season 3 goes for. I didn't watch it at gmail.com. And let me know what you think, because it's really, there's big stuff going on here with this, with this, the symbolism of this. Thank you. What's this now? This is an interesting image, isn't it? What do you think it might be? It's my nipple, and fuck you. I'm David Lynch. I'm done talking about this. I'll catch you later.